This week, House Speaker John Boehner announced plans for a lawsuit against President Obama over what he calls abuses of executive power. The Democrats were quick to respond. Take a look.
I believe the president is not faithfully executing the laws of our country. And on behalf of the institution and our Constitution, standing up and fighting for this is in the best long-term interest of the Congress.
I make of it as subterfuge. As I said, they're doing nothing here. And so they have to give some aura of activity. There really needs to be an adult in that room of the Republican caucus.
How serious should the White House take the power abuse accusations? Joining us now, Republican strategist Ryan Girdusky and Democratic strategist Steve Laser. So, guys, thanks for being here with me tonight. Steve, does Boehner does he have a case?
I don't think so, Kim. I mean, if you look at the traditional measurements of whether a president is using his executive authority, things like executive orders and signing statements, he's used the fewest executive orders of any two-term president, on track to, since Grover Cleveland in 1897. He's used hundreds fewer signing statements than President George W. Bush. So I'm not sure where Republicans are getting this idea that he's misusing his executive authority. I don't see it.
All right. You see it differently.
He has a right to do as many executive orders as he wants, but it's what he's doing an executive order on. He doesn't have a right to do an executive order in an attempt to frustrate a law, so much so that it oversteps Congress. When Obamacare, the rollout happened, and it happened so badly, he told insurance agencies that you could go out and give premiums from last year and deals from last year in an attempt to overstate his own law. This is a perpetual problem of an unlawful president to commit executive orders in order to overstep Congress.
So you don't take issue with the fact that he's issuing executive orders, but with respect to the areas in which he's doing it,
right,
he shouldn't be doing it. That's an overreach. Or
absolutely.
overstep.
Or the directive to DHS to allow illegal aliens under 30 to give them ways to go around getting deported. He is absolutely overstepping his bounds and telling insurance companies you can go against the law. He's telling illegal immigrants you can go against the law, and he's breaking up the laws that the Congress is setting for him.
Kim, you want to talk about what the president is actually doing in terms of using his authority. Let's look at George W. Bush. I didn't hear Republicans saying anything during that. Warrantless wiretapping, right? Torture, extraordinary rendition, all of these
things.
Torture,
there was one case of waterboarding. Okay.
Mitt Romney, Republicans' nominee for president in 2012, said one of the first things that he would do is he would issue an executive order to repeal Obamacare. Republicans applauded every time he said that. I didn't hear anything about that. So for Republicans now to go back and say, oh, we're concerned about abuse of executive authority.
Okay, but are you saying you have no problem with what Bush did and you have no problem with what Obama did?
No,
or just Bush?
No, as a matter of fact, I welcome the idea of discussing what the limits of executive authority should be. I just think that coming from the folks that it's coming from, regarding the things that it's coming from, is a little bit ridiculous.
So you're willing to debate on the limits of executive order, just not under this president.
No.
Maybe a next Republican president we can have that conversation, but right now, for the here and now.
He wants to discuss limits later.
Later on, when the Republicans
maybe 2016.
We can have it right now, but this lawsuit is absolutely ridiculous. The idea that all of a sudden it's bad for Republicans, I think that's ridiculous.
President Obama has been respecting the rule of law like President Clinton respected interns with blue dresses. It is not
went there.
Something that has to be dealt with now, here and now, for sure.
That was a good, yeah, we're going to leave it on that because that was pretty good. But let's move on to the IRS scandal. So, Ryan, can the American people trust the IRS if they can't even be accountable for the emails? I mean, what's going on?
Right. 7 employees are under investigation. 7 hard drives crashed. 0 archives are backed up. The commissioner of the IRS is a Democratic donor who gave $80,000 to Democratic campaigns, including $5,000 to President Obama. He finds this out in April, doesn't contact the Department of Justice, doesn't contact the Congress, and doesn't contact the FBI.
All right. Well, those are serious problems. Yeah. I'm going to let Steve respond, but take a look at what the president said this week.
Sometimes the news that's coming off is these are just Washington fights. They're fabricated issues, they're phony scandals that are generated. It's all geared towards the next election or ginning up a base. It's not on the level.
All right, so what do you think? Is he right?
I think he's absolutely right. You know,
How did I know you were going to say that?
You know, I besides my political stuff, I've had like almost a 20-year IT career. Some of it was in disaster recovery, business continuity consulting. I have seen so many instances like this in the private sector where folks who didn't do the right things regarding backups, exactly like what the IRS did with their email backups, happens. Now, I admit this looks bad, and I would support, I saw some of your other guests earlier saying, I would support the idea of a special prosecutor, but I'm going to tell you what they're going to find. They're going to find that absolutely nothing wrong happened here, and I'll tell you why I know that. When you see situations like this, where they're investigated forensically, what you see when there's been wrongdoing is they've somehow subverted the policies, and they have not done that in this case.
All right, and you disagree?
I think we should have an independent prosecutor for sure.
It
Wow,
seems
we
like
actually
it'd be
agree.
warranted in this situation. Let's see what happens, but I have a ton of faith in Eric Holder and doing the right thing here. I want to say thank you to both of you for joining me tonight.
Thank you,
Ryan and
Kim.
Steve, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
All right, coming up, more on today.